Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Just a quick show of hands. Who in this room has heard of Travelzoo? Okay, a few, more than I possibly expected. So at least our marketing teams are doing a good job. So I've been asked to come to talk, as Professor Conradi just mentioned there, to give you some insights into some of the research that we've done recently as part of this convention. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Travelzoo, it's a very quick rundown. 25 offices, 11 markets, 27 million members worldwide now who sign up to our products, to our offers that we send out. Many of those are coming through a mobile. Over 50% are accessing our offers, our deals, our website via mobile. 4 million app downloads and growing. But I think the key element really at the very bottom there is we publish over 250,000 hand-negotiated deals curated all around the world every single year. And our customers, our members, rate those offers at well over 90%. So we're very much in tune with what makes a really good deal and essentially what's really going to drive performance for our advertisers. I think the unique element that we have at Travelzoo is that we operate across the whole spectrum, from airlines to cruise lines, but even more locally within things like restaurants, entertainment, spas, and we do that in every single one of those major markets. So we can really see trends as to how people are accessing things, what they're looking for in particular types of deal, and the nuances also in terms of what they're looking for when they go on a trip or on a holiday. So there'll be three key areas, and I only have a relatively short period of time, so I'm going to have to go through these slides relatively quickly, but we'll be sharing these slides and we can share further results with you if you so choose. So the first area is price versus experience. It's the key question, what wins? You know, is it a low price or is it a value-added product package, or how do people differentiate? No presentation would be complete, I don't feel, without us talking about the shared economy or the peer-to-peer rental market. We touch on that very quickly. And ultimately, what do customers really value within hotel stays? And given the real disruption of that peer-to-peer side, is how do hotels really try and compete with that? So first up is price versus experience, and we spoke to people all around the world, from China to Germany to France to Spain, to understand their views to help us guide this research. And it was also thanks to Professor Conradi, who's actually helped with the methodology around this study. So here's a quick video.
Cuando tengo que viajar me enfoco más en el precio bajo, porque al fin y al cabo la calidad de la experiencia la creas tú mismo cuando viajas.
Also wenn ich in Urlaub fahre oder fliege, dann eigentlich das Erlebnis. Ja, definitiv das Erlebnis.
I think experience more than anything.
Lo más importante para mí es con quién viajo, el destino y la experiencia que podamos pasar en el viaje.
Quality is number one, but if you can get a deal.
我觉得两者都会比较重要。
Like a mix of both, actually. Quality and a low price is what I look for.
Doy más importancia al precio a la hora de buscar un vuelo, ya que sé que probablemente viaje con la misma calidad.
Airfare and then the hotels.
比如说客房的房间价格，或者是交通的机票价格会更好一些。
Also Erlebnis ist mir vor allem wichtig, wenn es ums Hotel geht. Da würde ich dann auch gerne ein bisschen mehr Geld ausgeben, wenn ich ein Hotel kriege, was mir ein bisschen mehr bietet, definitiv. Und auch vor Ort, Aktivitäten vor Ort, da ist mir dann auch wichtig, dass es irgendwie Hand und Fuß hat. Und da ist mir der Preis war auch wichtig, aber da würde ich definitiv auch mehr Geld für ausgeben.
Da möchte ich dann einfach wirklich das komplette Wohlfühlpaket mit allem drum und dran.
I would spend a little more on a hotel.
Quand je pars avec ma femme, il est plutôt long.
Drink food.
Probably, yeah. I'll drink the odd bottle of wine. Odd bottle of wine, odd bottle of vodka.
Okay, so I think the Brits at the end there didn't quash any stereotypes of drinking vodka and wine, which seems to be the key thing. So any marketers in the room, you must please remember to keep a very full minibar for those guests. So yes, that's a little excerpt of some of the studies that we did with our members. It's fair to say that there is a lot of good news in the market just now. So we asked them generally, do you plan to spend more money, in 2015 as part of your discretionary items than the previous year? And nearly 50% have said that that is the case. So I think we're definitely seeing recovery in this area. Our advertisers seeing that. So I think there's a lot of good positivity and confidence in the market. But the key thing there, and actually really backs up the audience survey here, is that 60% of our customers or the sample group would focus on the experience and not exclusively on the price. And I think quite often when we're marketing, especially in certain segments, is we definitely end up going for the lowest price to compete, and that's really not what we're seeing from this particular study. So we wanted to also look at individual sectors of travel. Are these results homogenous? Do we see any trends across these? And we tried to cover the whole spectrum of spa holidays, package holidays, train travel, so your transport arrangements, and cruise, to see if there was any nuances around that, whether it's a price-led area or whether it's a experience-led area. And focusing first where there was more of a bias on price, we have these key areas, flights, train journeys, city breaks, package holidays, and ultimately active and sports holidays such as hiking, walking, skiing. And the majority of people obviously want price and experience together. Very demanding. It's kind of an obvious statement. But what we were looking at were any outliers of performance where people said it's absolutely about low price, and whether we saw high percentages in those areas. And you can see here that even within certain markets, and this is a key thing for how we look at marketing, it's, again, your product and the product that's being packaged or the product that's being offered, you have to really take into consideration the differences in different markets and how they operate. So just looking at this, these are the people who said exclusively the lowest price is my main objective, regardless of experience. And you can see there that, China is a very big outlier on flights. Worldwide, Europe, North America, I've seen some amazing stands here from your Lufthansa and your Emirates, but ultimately it's about a price from getting to A to B. Similarly with city breaks, people are going to the destination to experience something great. They're happy to say, I just want the lowest price because I want to come to Berlin and I want to sample everything that's great about that particular city. China, unlike, which is really 44%, which would say that is the lowest price, is actually very high. And you'll see from further slides that the Chinese traveler is really looking for that high-end experience. But certainly within train travel, they just want the lowest price. So these are the ones, and you could deduce from this that this is about transport. This is about getting from A to B. But also, you could also say that short-term package holidays, short-haul package holidays, city breaks are really about maybe an additional holiday where it's about going to the destination and enjoying what there is there. We can see some case studies of how this happens within Travelzoo. Very often we're doing train ticket sales at a very low price. You've got £199 Rome and Venice Twin Centre, where people are going, they're staying in functional hotels, but they really want to experience the city. And you can see the results of these happen really quickly. £99 to stay in Paris is an incredible offer, and this sold out within minutes. And then again, £300 to go to Moscow for 3 nights. These are the sort of offers that really back up the research that we've seen. Focus on the other side, which is around a stronger bias towards the experience. These key areas came out very, very strongly. Now, I don't know too many people who would want to go to a spa and just focus on the lowest price. So that's kind of an obvious one. But where you have hotel stays, you've got long-haul package holidays, cruise in particular, cultural holidays, these are all areas where people really want to focus on the experience and what they're going to get out of that holiday. And again, here you can see China are really, really, really very, very strong in terms of the overall experience, pretty much consistently. Europe, if we come to hotel stays, 13%, but even within Europe, the Spanish were much lower. Only 5% of people really said it's all about the experience, whereas the French market was over 22% who really focused on that higher experience. And I suppose for hoteliers within this area, it's very easy to create one website and toggle between languages of French, Spanish, German. But what you really need to be thinking about is far more granular marketing around, what is the product, what's the differentiation, how do I attract this customer versus this customer. Cruises in particular skewed very highly, and in Europe we operate in a fairly saturated market with a lot of cruise ships. There's a new P&O cruise coming into Southampton today, and we're very used to seeing €500, €600 price points for some incredible Mediterranean or Baltic cruises, yet consistently we see that actually the cruise experience is high. And I think within that, first-time cruisers may not know, but certainly people who have been on cruise regularly, repeat customers, know the cabin, know how they want to dine, and again, it's very different by different sectors. Here's some examples, at the other end of the spectrum. This one was over £1,200 per person. It was a Greece break, which did incredibly well. It was about that package holiday. Again, a great cruise study. This was over €2,000. And these deals are also sitting alongside much cheaper deals of €500. And these ones win consistently because it's about value and about the experience. Again, luxury trip to Thailand, sold out incredibly quickly because of what it offered. Business class flights, 5-star resort, nearly €3,000 per person. And again, another one, and this is a good example of, how do you build, differentiation around the cruise line? Is it about what's on the ship, or is it about where you're going? Is it about the destination? And again, we can see this one with a Monaco Grand Prix to stop outside during that period is an incredible experience for anybody. This one, it's a very small example. This restaurant here in London is one of the top restaurants in London, and we offer our members a variety of options. And we have a relatively inexpensive offer for 2 people for £60. Hardly anybody bought that. Most of the people were buying the higher-end restaurant deals, and that was the one that sold. So people are also thinking, if I'm going to a restaurant, I don't want to be the person who has the limited menu. I want to be the person who gets to have it all. So we quite often really just go for the highest point so that the customers who go there have a great experience. Mix and match. Mix and match is a trend, and we've done studies on this before, and we've seen that are more people prepared to take a low-cost airline and stay in a high-class hotel? Are they prepared to have a slightly reduced transport but stay in an amazing resort? And this trend is certainly on the increase. Within North America, which you'd expect, with a lot more domestic flights, 70% of people are doing this mix and match now. Within Europe, it's slightly less, 53%, and worldwide you can see the numbers. But again, within Europe, the UK, almost double the amount of people are doing this over the French audiences. So it is definitely a trend that's continuing. It's one that we're seeing. Now, we're seeing it with the tour operators that we work with, that they're really looking to get the person to the destination as effectively as possible so that the majority of the money and the majority of the margins can be made on resort. So, to summarize that particular element, what wins? I would be commercially naive if I didn't think low price had any say in it. It clearly does, and it's clearly a big lever, but it's certainly not the only one, and we've seen that. Flights, transport, city breaks are the ones where, price is the determining factor, but for marketeers, it should really be about what to do at the destination. And in many segments which we've seen, it really is about that quality experience, and the mix and match era is going to certainly grow over time. So, a shared economy. I think everybody's probably been on a presentation or a conference talk, but we wanted to understand a little bit more within the individual markets as to what were the feeling about it. Could we see any trends to support, the growth numbers that we're continuing to see? Just a show of hands, who's actually stayed with one of these companies in this room? Okay, for quite a lot. Keep your hand up if you thought that experience was better than a good hotel experience. Okay, well, I didn't count all the hands, but I'm guessing there's quite a lot of people who said yes. It's certainly, the trends are absolutely what we are seeing also. So just to pull these numbers out, these aren't exclusively people who have just stayed with Airbnb or Roomarama or Housetrip. This is just generally, are they staying in bed and breakfast, guest houses, but also with those bigger brands. So the numbers there are high. 15% of people have already done it within Europe. North America, there's a much greater brand presence of those brands out there at the moment, 22%. But what's really quite significant is that nearly half of people who haven't done it are now definitely interested in doing that. So specifically around those, here's some other numbers, which is generally very positive. The key one for me is that 25% either have or would offer their property for private rental. And I think with that sort of groundswell of support for the demand side, then clearly that's going to become an area which will flip to this, on the supply side, that will be an area which will certainly flip to the demand side. 70% who have done it rate the experience better than a hotel, which is high, really, really high. 71% would feel comfortable staying in another person's home. 7% think homes are much more comfortable than hotel rooms. There is some negativity there around the people who haven't done it. 37% would have concerns regarding management, cleanliness, and payment. But the more people who are doing this, the more reviews that are being left, the more reviews of the property, but also the host, then a lot of these negative sort of constraints or fears to actually do this will dissipate, certainly, over time. So we did a deal in Canada a few weeks ago. Went to around about 600,000 people, and overnight we did 10,000 room nights. It went crazy, and we'd never done this sort of thing before. So that was the one campaign that we did with Airbnb. So what do hotel customers really value? If that's the competition, if this is really the disruption that they're seeing, is what do customers really, really want when they stay in a hotel? So a little bit of light relief. Can anybody guess what the Spanish customer really, really, really wouldn't want to give up? Sorry? No, I'll help. It's a daily cleaning service, all right? A lot of hotels now, I stayed in the Starwood property a few weeks ago, saying if you sacrifice, the odd day of cleaning here and there, then you will get points, more points, or a token for the bar. The Brits, what will the Brits not give up? Sorry? What was that? No, okay, fine. Okay, here we go. The kettle. So we do love our cups of tea. We do love our cups of tea. So what about the German hotel traveler? Would you believe it, the hairdryer? How vain, how vain. Incredible. So, okay, so it's serious. You don't think you came here to hear about that. So in rank order, we asked people, what are the things that you really value in a hotel? And it comes through from, I don't really care about the welcome fruit. I really don't, see much value in a mini bar that's very expensive. The room service I could do without. There's a whole sort of mix of an area regarding, wake-up calls, irons, kettles, these sort of amenities that cost a lot. Even the spa, you can see there, the spa in the restaurant, the spa is really high in terms of, actually, I don't really care too much about that. Now, this is a very broad study. The ones that they're happy that they must keep is, free parking, TV, free Wi-Fi, we all know comes up time and time again, but it's really going to become a differentiated service. And you can guarantee pretty much that most of those Airbnb properties will have Wi-Fi already and a lot of these luxuries that already exist. You may find it slightly amusing that 2% would happily go to a hotel and forsake towels and bedding, but we're also seeing some new brands entering the market with extreme budget, which means bring your own towels, bring your own bedding, and you can stay here for a really rock bottom price. But from everything that we've seen, only 9% of people worldwide focus solely on price. The experience and the luxury items are certainly what most people demand, and that's really the point of differentiation for the hotels. Here's some campaigns. We worked with a five-star hotel in Berlin. It was luxury. It was a higher price point. These ones worked because we told the story about Berlin. We told the story about the hotel and what it had to offer, and that was successful. This one is a small UK hotel, and actually you find a lot of the smaller independent hotel properties are much more agile and much more able to say, this is what the value is, this is how we communicate it. And this one we fill within minutes, but it was because of the upsell on dinings and the upsell on additional room nights. A luxury UK property, a higher end property. Again, with this one, it was all about the dining experience, what it had to offer, the accolades, the stars that it have. And again, that's always a popular campaign. This little Scottish hotel, we ran it once just as a hotel room night only, nothing else. It did okay. And then we ran it again with afternoon dinner, tea, shortbread, three-course dinner. It really showcased the value of what that property could bring, and we pretty much filled this hotel for the next 2 months that we ran it with. So again, it's all about the storytelling on it. So I think this is my last slide. What we can see is that nearly all people who are actually taking advantage of that peer-to-peer, that shared economy side, enjoy it. 70% are rating it better than hotels, which is a huge, huge endorsement of that particular product and what it can offer. Positive experience will be shared, and the reviews and how that's happening will overcome any sort of negative or resistance to move there, and that's going to happen time and time again through word of mouth or through digital online reviews that are shared. Peer-to-peer rental will grow. People don't just see it as something for a young, savvy traveller. This is going to hit all broad demographics, and more people are inclined to give their rooms and their houses over for this type of business for a ton of different reasons. But for hotels to really compete, we've seen it's not just about going and stripping things away and having it at a very low cost. Sure, cost has to be competitive, but it's about bringing in all of those nuances, all of those things that make the hotel successful and providing that consistent service, that management service. But travelers definitely want those luxury items. They want the hair dryers, they want the kettles, at least the Germans and the Brits do. But price and experience within that sector is a very, very strong balance to get right. So that's it. Thank you very much, everybody.